Vashawn, this is an application for deferred adjudication. Donna, you ready? Court is calling 2023 CR 6375, State of Texas versus Claude Cunningham. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Hank Wilkins to the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Gabriel Salice, Your Honor.
All right, are you Claude Cunningham? All right, I'm gonna need you to keep your voice up so the court reporter can hear.
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Cunningham, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Cunningham, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you
Yes, Your
sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with possession of a weapon in prohibited places? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Off the record for a moment. Ms. Carrillo, after I finish this plea and your client is sworn in, I'll take your case up next.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're back on the record. Mr. Cunningham, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, the fine is $1,000. The state recommends deferred adjudication, the MRT course, and your agreement to forfeit the handgun. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 3 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offense as charged in the indictment, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
I'm sorry?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, I offer State's Exhibit 1 in the attachments.
Any objections?
No objections, Your
All
Honor.
right, state, you can continue to confer.
Thank you, Judge.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony. Oh, before you leave, let me give this to you. Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Finding the guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, as far as sentencing, the only request we have, Your Honor, is that he's a resident of Corpus Christi, Texas, and if the
Okay.
court would consider transferring his probation to Nueces County.
All right, are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do?
I'm a industrial firefighter, safety supervisor.
All right, I will tell you, I've been to the airports plenty of times. And when you're rolling your bag through, there's a big sign on the door, the sliding doors that says, check, make sure you have no weapons. So, and then honestly, I've read that if you let them know you have a weapon, there's a certain way that you can check it through.
Yes, Your Honor.
And just on a personal note, I went to the airport and they took my aloe vera, which you know how expensive that is. They took it, but you can check a gun. But my aloe vera is a bridge too far. So I understand, I read the report. I understand it was a mistake on your part. Sometimes people are packing in a hurry and they don't remember what they have. All right, do you have any children?
No.
Okay, this is what the court will do. Court is going to sentence you to $1,000 fine. That will be probated. I'll allow the transfer to Nueces County. Okay. Two years deferred adjudication. The MRT course. Actually, he needs a gun safety course. So I'm going to throw in a gun safety course.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Well, no, because I really don't think it's a MRT type of thing. I think it's people need to be aware what they have in their check bags, and people need to be more careful with guns.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, because if you would have brought that gun on the plane in a check bag, guess what happened? If something goes down on the plane and people are looking for things, they grab your bag. Oh, bullets are here, guns here, you know?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
So a gun safety course, there's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person,
Yes, Your Honor.
regular UAs, 200 hours of community service restitution, proof of employment within 30 days.
Yes, Your Honor.
There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, once you've completed everything, I'll consider early termination if there are no violations. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you. Be careful with
Thank you.
guns.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
you're welcome. Court is calling 2023 CR 3548, State of Texas versus, how do you pronounce your first name?
Delina.
Delina. I've been mispronouncing it forever. State of Texas versus Delina Glass. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
defense?
Adrian Pettis.
And are you Miss Glass?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Glass, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are.
Ms. Glass, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $2,000 fine, affirmative finding of deadly weapon. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution to. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state,
It is, Your Honor.
showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 10 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours of community service restitution, no contact or the family of. You understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. State officer exhibit number 1 with all the attachments.
Any
No.
objection?
No objections.
All right. And state, have you had a chance to speak with the complainant?
We have, Your Honor.
All right. All right, you may continue to confer. Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Diana, I'm sorry, I'm going to slow it down. I just realized that. Stephanie, you're talking too fast. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
I'd like to.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, I just ask that you follow the agreement. Outside of the agreement, Judge, my client is indigent. Specifically, she's on disability. I'd ask the court to consider probating the fine in full or partially. In addition to probating some of the community service.
All right. Why were you late for court?
I had to bring an Uber down here and I come from Universal City and the traffic was horrible.
All right.
She did text me this morning too, Judge.
All right. What is your disability for?
I've had 5 back surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, and ongoing autoimmune disorders.
All right. So I'm reading the police report. So it always appears that females want to fight over some boyfriend who could care less about either of them. So explain to me why you thought it was appropriate. Your daughter's ex-boyfriend's girlfriend is coming over to have a conversation with her. I say conversation loosely. And so your daughter calls her brother and says, hey, this girl is coming over. So instead of anybody saying, let's call the police, everybody's like, oh, she's coming over to start something. And the brother's like, well, I'm going to come over there to help in case there is any problem. Nobody thinks of calling the police. Then you get involved. You fire a shot. You could have killed her. And I'm reading this, the bullet went through a bedroom, went somewhere else. You could have killed some young child who's just at the apartment trying to enjoy his best life. And meanwhile, people who didn't raise their children appropriately are getting into a fight over some boy who's probably with another girl right now, who probably doesn't have employment and has nothing going for himself. Because if he did, he would not be dating girls fighting over him. So what were you thinking?
It was actually the young man's sister.
Yeah, but what were you thinking?
I was defending my daughter because she was 27 years old. and
So
my
you're
daughter
pulling
was
out a
16.
gun with a crowd of people. And I read the report, and what it says was your son was trying to pull you back. Other people were in between you and this person trying to de-escalate, and you escalate by pulling a gun. Did anybody pull a gun on you?
No, but I did know them to have weapons.
No. Did anybody pull a
No.
gun on you? So you're 2 steps away from being charged with murder and probably on trial for murder, looking at a life sentence where nobody's going to care whether you have a disability or not.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you're firing a gun, then putting it back in your waistband. People do watch too much TV where everybody wants to carry a gun in their waistband like this is Miami Vice or something.
Yes, ma'am.
You taught your children nothing on that day, because guess what they're going to be thinking? Pull a gun. Guess what? It doesn't matter if there are 20 people around. It doesn't matter if we're in a crowded stairwell. Whoever gets shot, gets shot. And guess what? That bullet that went through somebody's apartment, because they say it went through somebody else's apartment who has nothing to do with nothing, their child, and we've had a case like that before, their child just standing in the kitchen, minding their own business, cooking, end up with a bullet in the brain, brain splatter and brain matter all over the floor, and they have nothing to do with nothing. And then the defendant is up in here crying, which you would have been up and crying. I didn't mean to do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Pulling a weapon should not be somebody's first thought. You should have picked up the phone. And I understand that this started at a different complex and then y'all took it to another complex. Everybody should have been calling the police.
Yes, ma'am.
People should not have been opening the doors. And if your son was coming over to help his sister, you know what he should have said? We're going to close this door. We're going to keep the door locked. We're going to call the police.
Yes, ma'am.
And that would have been the end of it. Now, guess what? You got a criminal case pending.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to be on deferred for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And you will forever be labeled as somebody who has a felony.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any underage children at your home?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
She's 17.
Okay. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to 10 years deferred. That's being asked for. There's a $2,000 fine that will be probated. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be no contact with or her family. And if shows up to your daughters or shows up to your place because she still thinks she's got a great catch with this ex-boyfriend, you need to call the police.
Yes, ma'am.
$200 hours of community service restitution. Do you have any grandchildren?
Yes, I have 3.
And who's the parent of those?
My 26-year-old son.
All right. Do you ever babysit?
Yes, ma'am. 3 days a week.
All right. There's going to be parenting classes. I'm going to want regular UAs. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative.
All right. We're going to do a UA today. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Anger management classes. I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. If everything works out with the field visits, then probation, you can do those as you see fit. And the MRT course. Probation, is there anything else she needs?
Do proof of disability or SSI or?
Yes. Proof of disability or SSI within 2 months. If not provided, then proof of employment within 60 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Anything else, probation?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court?
No, ma'am.
I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And
Yes,
did you
ma'am.
sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it goes without saying, you're not allowed to possess any weapon.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing. You shooting at her, almost killing other people who have nothing to do with nothing. She could have pulled a gun. And if your grandchildren are in that house and she wanted to fire a weapon and shoot, any one of your grandchildren could have been killed. And you know what? That would have been all on you. And you would have been on the news crying. You would have been in here crying. And everybody would have said, this is what you all brought to the doorstep.
Yes, Your
So you're going to have to do better. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. 2022 CR 10858, State of Texas versus Angel Orosco. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
Defense.
Rafael Gallegos Carrillo from Mr. Orozco.
And are you Mr. Orosco?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by Zoom because Mr. Orosco is in Zavala County. Mr. Orosco, did you review the document entitled Defendants Consent to Appear by Video Conference with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
State, do you have any objections to the defendant appearing by Zoom?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, do you have any objection to your client appearing by Zoom?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of failure to stop and render aid in a moving vehicle? The range of punishment for that offense is up to a $5,000 fine and up to 1 year in Bear County Jail or up to 5 years in the prison. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state,
Yes, Judge.
showing you the waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 in all attachments.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state. Have you spoken to the complainant?
That I'd have to check, Judge, I
Okay.
wasn't willing to go.
All right. Mr. Orosco, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver.
We have-
Okay. Mr. Orosco, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, my client just wishes to accept the responsibility for what occurred and put this behind him. And so we asked the court to honor the plea agreement.
All right. Court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be restitution, if any. And there's to be no contact with. Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Mr. Orosco, next time, you wouldn't even have this case if you would have just stopped and called for aid, okay? All right, good luck to you. Thank you, Ms. Carrillo. And
Thank
Mr.
you, Your
Orosco,
Honor.
if you'll let them know in Zavala County that we've completed your sentencing.
Good luck to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
My bid
Thank you,
excused, Your
Miss-
Honor.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Carrillo. Have a great day.
You too, Your Honor.